Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6. Let's do this. Hey guys, what's going on? Good afternoon. Welcome to hashtag TNT JoeFi Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. Today is, it's not showing me my date here because I have other stuff on my watch. Today is Thursday, July 23rd. Good afternoon to everyone in the US. Good morning. Good evening to everyone else around the world. How's it going? This is episode something of TNT JoeFi because I lost count. This is also day something in quarantine because I equally lost count. So it's funny, we had such a busy tech day yesterday talking about phones, and then today we don't have a ton. I should have pulled up stories from yesterday, but I forgot. But we can always talk about things and we can discuss that. But let's go ahead and let's get into the news for today. I'm actually a bit tired and I'm trying to get like my energy up. This morning I went for a 15-mile bike ride. And you know, I haven't eaten in like 2 days, so it kind of wiped me out a bit, but the show must go on. So we're going to do this. Let me go ahead and say hi to everybody. I do want to say thank you to Levin Williams for the $1 super chat. Levin, thank you again for your support, your continued support. You've been a huge contributor as many others in here, so I do appreciate that. So thank you, Levin. Thank you so much. And you were the first, so welcome. Congrats for being the first in here. Paul was a little disappointed because he didn't make it first. Says, damn, there goes my first streak. Paul, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Let me scroll down here. Team Varai, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you feeling? Hey, Jerome, currently watching the stream on an iPod. My ear just popped. Here we go. It's so early. I haven't even had a chance to start. This is going to be annoying for the hour. Anyway, that's fine. Hey, Jerome, currently watching the stream on an iPod Touch. My wife got me as a welcome home gift. That's great. I hope you're feeling better, man. I hope today is better than yesterday and the day previous to that. So hopefully you're doing well. Small screen, but great to be on iOS again. There you go. There you go. Best of both worlds. Well, congrats on the iPod Touch. I haven't had one of those in forever. Levin says, Jerome, my pleasure, just showing my support. Levin, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Brian says, haha, streaks are meant to be broken. They are in a lot of ways. So let me see here. Brian says, iPod Touch, I feel you. iPhone SE 2020, small keyboard messing with me. Are you not used to the keyboard, Brian, on your SE? Is it too small? Is it actually hampering your use on the iPhone SE? Curious. Just wondering how that is there. Team Varai says it's like using a time machine. Yeah, I can see that. Totally can see that. So Let's go ahead. Let's start off with our first story. We're going to talk about my favorite thing to talk about, and that is big telecoms. That's very sarcastic. I don't care for these telecoms, and I don't always think they're looking out for the consumer. But I was looking at this news, and I was like, "Are they looking out for the consumer here?" And it's like, no. I think they're trying to force them to buy new phones. But the first story we have here from Android Authority says AT&T spooked customers with misleading phone upgrade warning. For any of you that's running AT&T, did you get this? I mean, I have T-Mobile, so I haven't received anything like that. But my next story is with T-Mobile, and it's kind of similar, but we'll get into this. So AT&T scared customers with an email telling them to upgrade phones to continue service. However, it didn't say customers had until February 2022 to switch, making some wonder if it was a scam. For anyone that doesn't have the math on that, February 2022 is a year and a half from now. I think it's important to let people know that, hey, some of your hardware might not be usable if you have such and such phones, but maybe putting it this way to kind of force people to buy a new phone, it doesn't sit well with me. It says here the carrier said the omission was a mistake. Let me ask, AT&T, was it a mistake when you started calling your 4G LTE 5GE? Was that a mistake? That you still haven't fixed on your phones? It still says 5GE. You're still confusing consumers that way. Actually, for people that have 5GE showing on their phones, what if people think now that's 5G and they're fine and they don't need to upgrade because they're looking at their phone and it says, well, it says 5GE on it, so it's fine. I mean, I don't know what phones apply to that, but AT&T might have kind of shot themselves in the foot there with that one. Anyway, AT&T has been accused of misleading customers before, surprise, surprise, but its latest incident was particularly worrisome for some people, if apparently unintentional. I mean, you got to think about the people too who aren't tech savvy, who don't know much about phones. They get this warning saying that they need to upgrade their phone. And I can only imagine the people running to an AT&T store who are worried that their phones aren't going to work anymore, who didn't read the note or the notice that it's not until February 2022. But now that the customer's in there, you might as well sell them a phone. Do you think that people in the upper tier of AT&T made sure to let their customer, well, I don't know what you call those people that work in AT&T, know that this came out and people might be coming into the stores and, just nudge them and help them find a new phone, get them sucked back in there, spend more money. And I don't even know if AT&T offers a 5G plan that costs more money, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Okay. Android Police reports that AT&T customers received an email message telling them their phones are not compatible with its latest network technology and need to be upgraded to continue receiving service. That's slightly worrisome when the phones are relatively recent, like Samsung's Galaxy S10e or the Nokia 6.1. One S10e owner on AT&T's forum wondered if the message wasn't a scam. The email linked to a support article making clear that customers have until February 2022 when AT&T shuts off its 3G network and stops supporting phones without HD voice calling. AT&T's message didn't clarify that, though, because, of course, why would they clarify? If you can muddy it up a bit and make it a little more confusing and force people into a store, why not? Making it sound like customers are losing service soon instead of a year and a half later. The carrier added to the confusion by sending messages to subscribers whose phones do support HD voice. Well, that doesn't help at all either. So, sending messages to subscribers whose phones do support HD voice. So even if their phone supported it and it's going to be fine, they got the message anyway. And yes, that's going to add confusion. That's going to add confusion to a lot of people. That would add confusion to me. Even someone like me who's tech, who's in the know for tech stuff. If I got that message, I'd be like, wait, my phone supports this. So why am I getting this message? Is it going to happen to me? This is something that when you muddy the waters like that, it doesn't sit well with me at all. In a statement to Android police, AT&T characterized the omissions as mistakes. Really? I just have a hard time believing that. It acknowledged that the email, quote, should have included the 2022 cutoff date, of course, but it's too late now. Do you think AT&T is going to go ahead and re-release the statement and be like, oops, my bad. Didn't mean to do that to you guys. Sorry about that. Here is really what you need to know. Or, hey, sorry about that text. I know you have HD voice on here, so it doesn't affect you, so disregard. Do you think they're going to send those out? Probably not. And that only customers without HD voice, quote, should have received the message. The provider recommended contacting customer support if there was any uncertainty about a phone's long-term future, although it stopped short of promising a clarifying message. Whether or whatever AT&T's intentions, the timing of a message like this was more than a little unfortunate. I mean, yeah, the timing, obviously, because of everything that's going on, but it's not even about the timing. It's about sending misinformation. It's about muddying the waters. So even if we were in an economic boom or whatever, it's still not the message to send out, especially if it's wrong information. You're a big company. You're one of the biggest telecoms in the country. And oops, my bad. Sorry. But if you want to spend some money anyway, here are a couple options for you. It was effectively telling customers to spend money on a new phone in the middle of a pandemic defined by economic hardship. Thankfully, the truth is decidedly less alarming. If you do have an affected phone, you still have the better part of 2 years to plan your upgrade strategy. So adding on to that, this article from Android Police is also talking about T-Mobile here, saying that T-Mobile will soon require I don't know how to pronounce this, VoLTE on all phones. Non-compatible devices will get kicked off in January. So this is something that's happening in less than a year from now, right? January 2021, I believe, is what they're saying here for phones that don't have VoLTE, or however you pronounce that. Metro by T-Mobile will also be affected and possibly Sprint. According to internal T-Mobile documents, the carrier plans to rapidly fast-track plans to shut down its 2G and 3G voice networks. I mean, I get it. 2G and 3G they're super old. And I just think that it's important that these companies at least have a better message when they're sending it out to their customers about what can work, what couldn't work, and how to fix that. Affected customers could be forced to upgrade handsets or leave the network in a matter of months. Most carriers have already shut down their legacy 2G networks, so the frequencies can be reused for LTE and 5G, and 3G's expiration date is rapidly approaching. AT&T started warning customers yesterday that phones without 4G voice calling would no longer work starting in 2022. An internal T-Mobile document obtained by Android Police pictured below states that starting August 4th of this year, mere weeks from now, T-Mobile will require all new devices on the network to support voice over LTE. That's what I should just say instead of saying VoLTE, voice over LTE. Existing customers with a non-compatible phone won't be immediately impacted, but starting in January 2021, which is less than 6 months from now, all incompatible devices will no longer be able to use T-Mobile, possibly at all. Affected customers will receive a text informing them of the change in the near future. I think there's a way to figure out if your phone is capable of using voice over LTE or not. And I think you can check the IMEI on T-Mobile. I think there's a site for that. I have to double check because I don't even know, like, for example, if my Huawei P40 Pro Plus is capable of voice over LTE. I'm assuming it would be. But I don't know the requirements when it comes to T-Mobile, when it comes to something like that. And it also makes me wonder how many of these unlocked phones that you buy have that technology to use under T-Mobile's network. And if it doesn't, is it going to completely be unusable? That I don't know. This is a question that I have because, yeah, I'm kind of in the know when it comes to tech stuff, but I have no idea if it's going to affect me in terms of, because I use T-Mobile. T-Mobile's my carrier. They have been for, God, what, a decade, maybe longer. maybe shorter. I don't know. Anyway, the change will also affect T-Mobile's MVNO, Metro, formerly known as Metro PCS. It's not immediately clear if the move will apply to other MVNOs using T-Mobile's network, like Mint Mobile, Ting, and Consumer Cellular. I never heard of Consumer Cellular. That's new for me. We have reason to believe Sprint devices will also be affected, but the impact for customers on that network is less clear. The carrier has always blocked devices not explicitly certified, and the certification process has included voice over LTE support for years. While T-Mobile doesn't have a whitelist system for allowing voice over LTE like AT&T does, the fact still remains that many phones are incompatible with T-Mobile's implementation, or the manufacturer simply never added support. The new requirement will mostly affect customers using select imported phones from companies like Xiaomi or Huawei. No. In addition to older phones. I wonder how that's going to affect my P40 Pro Plus. I really do. Most unlocked phones sold in the United States have supported T-Mobile's voice over LTE profile for years. Even devices as old as the HTC One M9 and LG G2 are compatible, forcing people to purchase new phones during a global pandemic when unemployment in some areas of the US is as high as 20% still isn't a great look, but it remains to be seen if T-Mobile will offer discounts on new devices for affected customers. I wonder if it's really going to affect my Huawei P40 Pro Plus or not. If it does, then I might have to look at a different carrier that will accommodate me using imported phones. I think that's going to be an issue for a lot of people who, like me, who like to buy phones unlocked. I mean, that's my next story, actually. We're talking about another unlocked phone. So I don't know. You know, I talk a lot about how 5G really isn't the thing to be worried about right now. But I guess in a way it is something to think about, especially if they're going to be shutting down a lot of things and they're forcing customers to have certain like specifications on the phone. I don't know too much right now about what is required and what isn't. And I mean, T-Mobile and AT&T are huge telecoms here. I don't even know what Verizon's going to do. Verizon's probably just going to be like, nope, you got to buy your phones from us all the time. No unlocked phones whatsoever. I don't know. Okay, let me go into chat here. Let me see what's going on. Okay, let me scroll back down. Brian says AT&T can EAD. I hear you. Brian saying somewhat, you're talking about the iPhone SE and the keyboard, because the Note 10 Plus to the iPhone SE is as big of a difference as it gets. That's very true. That's why my Note 10 Plus is my daily driver. There you go. Okay, so let me see here. Android Stud is in here. Android Stud, what's going on, man? What's up, Leo? I haven't seen you in a minute. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. T-Mobile will require voice over LTE starting in early 2021. So I need to figure out what phones have voice over LTE for me and what phones don't, and how it's really going to affect it. So are you saying that if my Huawei P40 Pro Plus does not support voice over LTE, I won't be able to use it at all, like completely? It'll just stop working on T-Mobile's network? Hopefully not. Paul says customer lure. Okay, Paul. Team Verizon says that AT&T statement is bonkers. It is. Android Stud says if you're using a Nokia, you should be forced to change your phone. Come on now. There are a couple Nokia. I used to be a Nokia fanboy before the iPhone was a thing. Android Stud says report T-Mobile will kick devices that don't support voice over LTE off of its network in January. In just a few months, T-Mobile will be shutting down its 2G and 3G networks, and as a result, leave many phones without support for voice calls and potentially the network as a whole. Yeah, Team Verizon asking what's the legality behind that. Leo says not sure, to be honest. We'll find out. Yeah, I don't know. The survival of the fittest. or more or less survival of like your economic status. Do you have the money for it or not? Hopefully they can buy the Pixel 4a by then. Leo says Pixel 4a coming soon. Spring 2021. See, I'm telling you guys, there is no way that we can go through a stream without the Pixel being mentioned. I haven't even had really any big talk about the Pixel 4a or the Pixel 5 in a minute, or at least I don't think so. But we managed to find a way to talk about the Pixel in some form or fashion. We always end up talking about it. Paul says, I always read voice over LTE as Voldemort. Sean, what up, Jerome? What up, Sean? What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Team Rice says Voldemort. There you go. Deepak Murthy is in here as well. Hello, everyone. What's going on, Deepak? Nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Big House is in here as well. Hello, Jerome and stream. What's going on, Big House? Nice to have you. Welcome. Jose Santana, I have not seen you in a minute. Jose, how's it going, man? Jose, if I remember, has been following me for a long time. No carrier will support Huawei here. I don't see that happening. I know. Huawei is not looked nicely here in the States for many other reasons than just the narrative that they're pushing. But yeah, I realize that, Jose. Jose, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Nice to have you. Android Stud says you should be able to enable voice over LTE on your $2 million Huawei. Leo's pulling the punches here. Enable voice over LTE by turning on voice over LTE HD calls, switch in settings. Actually, I'm going to try to look for that right now. I'm just going to do a quick search for voice over LTE and see what comes up. If it comes up, VOLTE, and that doesn't come up, but I will look for it later. I'm sure there's something in here. I believe you'll only be able to use your Huawei as a data only device. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to check that out and see what happens from there. Ted, what's going on, Ted? Welcome to the stream. T-Mobile does that. Then they might as well provide the silver platter to serve me to visible. So like, you're not, you and me might be on the same wavelength there. I might have to figure something else out if they're going to start doing that, because I want to use imported phones. I eventually want to use a Xiaomi phone. I want to test out Realme and Vivo and all these other phones that come out. I mean, are they going to force us to just use carrier locked phones? Because that's not the route I want to go. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to have that be my future. That is not the future I want. I want freedom of using whatever phones I want. And if that becomes the case, then yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out, guys. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't buy carrier locked phones. I don't believe in that. And yeah, I might have other options when I buy unlocked phones, but it shouldn't be that difficult. It really shouldn't. I shouldn't be tied down to just certain manufacturers or whatever. Brian says Team Pixel is an easy target. Yeah, you're probably right. It is. Y 2019. What's going on, Y? Hi, Y. What's up, man? Nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so Deepak says Pixel is our ultimate goal. I know. Pixel 5 coming 2022. I feel like you guys never get tired of poking fun of the Pixel, and I don't blame you because I do it myself, but I totally understand. Jose says, thanks for mentioning me, Jerome. Anytime, man. I always try to say hi and say what's up to everyone as long as it's physically possible, because I think, I mean, I don't think that time's coming anytime soon. I don't imagine 100 people sitting in the stream, but the community we have, I want to make sure that you guys are noticed. I mean, you guys encourage and inspire me to keep doing what I do every day, so I appreciate that. Go to settings, mobile network, mobile data. Thank you, Leo. I really shouldn't be asking these questions because I should be the tech guy, but I tell people I don't know everything. So thank you. Mobile settings, I'm in it. I don't see mobile network, but I see mobile data and preferred network mode. So when I go to preferred network mode, there is NR, LTE, WCDMA, GSM Auto. There is nothing. So there's mobile data, and it's just to turn it on and to turn it off. I I can choose a network provider, but it already knows that it's T-Mobile. Yeah, that's all I got on here. That these are my settings. Mobile data, which is on. I know that's probably really data roaming, access point names, preferred network mode. And then if you go to preferred network mode, you get these options here. So I have the one that has everything checked, but there's nothing that's showing voice over LTE. Maybe if it doesn't work, then maybe it's time to look for another network. I don't know. I guess we'll see when it happens. Team Verizon says, Jerome, back in the Philippines, a majority of people buy unlocked phones and prepaid SIMs are dominant, as far as I know. Yeah, I think, and that's the way I feel like phones really should be. I feel like I understand that it is not easy to buy $1,000 phone. I get that. But I also feel that maybe if you can't afford $1,000 phone, then maybe you shouldn't be buying $1,000 phone. There are caveats to that. I don't get me wrong. There are caveats to that. Let's say, for example, you can buy let's say, for example, you want a $500 phone and AT&T or T-Mobile is offering you interest free for the next 2 years. I think that might be a compromise there because it's interest free, but you also have to think about what if you break that phone in a month? You completely ruin it or it gets stolen and now you're out of this phone and you still got to pay for that phone that you don't have money for. Then you need to buy another phone. I just, again, I try to think in a consumer type of way. I know that here in the States, we kind of like try to put everything on debt and we just owe and pay later. And I don't really vibe with that. That's not really my thing. And again, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm just trying to think of other alternatives to it. So for me, it's like, well, if you can't spend $1,000 on a phone, hey, there are options for $500. Hey, there are options for maybe even $400. And that's something I try to at least bring to the people. So, yeah, Deepak Murthy says same here in Europe. We are unlocked lovers. And I agree. That's how I like buying my phones. Android Stud says LTE. Well, I'm gonna just leave it there and see how that goes. I mean, I got time, right? So we'll figure it out. Paul says, I decided getting a Poco F2 Pro tomorrow. Well, congrats. There you go. The Nord's camera is on par, I think, but a better battery, better screen. Don't care for high refresh rate anyway. Better SoC and a pop-up camera. There you go, man. Let me know how that is. Actually, Leo, Android Stud, don't you have the Poco F2 Pro? I'm sure Leo could chime in on that as well and his thoughts on that. So, okay, real quick, before we move on to the next story, what do I have here? Okay, I'm looking, just making sure I have my stuff in order. Real quick, before I move on, if you guys have not had a chance, please hit that like button. I know that sounds like cheesy marketing, gimmicky YouTube stuff, but it is a way to help support me. So if you do have a second, hit that like button. Also, I do stream weekdays every day, weekdays, not every day, but on weekdays at 2 p.m. Central. So if you're not a subscriber, please consider being a subscriber. Hit that subscribe button. If you want to get notified, hit that bell notification. I know that sounds like cheesy marketing again, but it is just a way to help out. And I do appreciate that. So thank you so much. And before I move on to the next story, real quick, if you are in chat, please, if I haven't heard from you, say hi. But at the same time, if you notice people with green in their names, you see a red Chicago star next to their name, that's because they are part of the Phone Jerome fam, and you could be one too for as little as 99 cents a month. All you got to do is click that join button. You'll get the green in your name. You'll get the red Chicago star. You'll get to use custom emoji, and you'll get your name in every single one of my intros and outros during my live streams. Again, for as little as 99 cents a month, just click that join button. If you can't find that, you can go to youtube.com/phone Jerome/join. Either way, I do want to thank everybody for supporting. That's all I'm going to do as far as marketing there. So again, guys, thank you so much. Either way, however you can help. I know that times are tough, so I totally understand if you can't, but appreciate you guys just being in here and stopping in. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next story. We're going to talk about the Galaxy S10e. I actually don't know too much about this phone. This phone has been out for quite some time now, but I'm bringing this up because it looks like people are trying to hit this $500 market, or at least this $500 price point when it comes to phones. Yesterday, we talked about, what did we talk about yesterday? I'm already forgetting. So yes, what phone are we? Why am I totally having a brain fart here? Yesterday we talked about oh my god, why? Okay, let me try to get my mind back in here. We talked about the OnePlus Nord the other day. The OnePlus Nord being a $400 phone. There we go, Leo. Thank you. I just looked at chat because I knew chat was going to help me. Yeah. Ah. Okay. Let me start over. Yesterday or the other day, we talked about the OnePlus Nord. We talked about this $500 price. Oh my god, this is awful. I'm totally just losing my mind. We are talking about the $400 to $500 segment when it comes to phones and buying phones at a cheaper price. The OnePlus Nord came out the other day, came out at a $400 price point, but for India. And in Europe, around the €400 price point, maybe even a little cheaper. Someone in chat on my stream here, Deepak Murthy, was able to get one at €369. So a great deal. But in the States, you're going to be hard pressed to get one unless you find a way to import it over. And then yesterday, I talked about the Moto Edge. There you go. I was trying to remember. The Moto Edge ended up going on sale for $500. And I think at a $500 price point, I think it's not bad at all. I do want to make a correction. Someone mentioned in the comments yesterday that the Moto Edge doesn't have the 765G chipset. It just has the Snapdragon 765. So not as, I guess, not as performance based, because it doesn't have that G chipset or that G moniker to it, but still 6 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage. I believe it has a quad or triple cam setup. And it has just a nice look altogether at a $500 price point that normally prices at $700. It's a sale price. So you'd have to get it before July 31st. You'd have to pre-order it before July 31st. But I think that might be a good alternative at a $500 price point. Now, Samsung is trying to sell their Galaxy S10e. Now, this is an older phone. This phone came out, I think, at the beginning of 2019. But a Galaxy S10e that has a Snapdragon 855 chipset. So still a better performing chipset than, I believe, the current Snapdragon 765 that's out now, that's on the Nord, that's on this Moto Edge. And it also has 256 gigs of internal storage at $500. For anyone here that has owned a Galaxy S10e, can you please chime in? Let me know your experience with it, because I feel like this is a pretty good deal as well. This is also why I keep telling people to think of these phones. I'm not saying to buy them, but put them on your short list. Actually, I did a little research yesterday and I was reading about the Moto Edge, and I think I read a review that said that it is a decent phone, but the thing that annoyed some people is that the fingerprint reader was awful on it. It wasn't the best fingerprint reader. I have no idea. I don't know how Moto's fingerprint readers are on their phones currently. So if anyone can chime in with that as well, but I don't even know how good this fingerprint reader is with the Galaxy S10e either. I haven't heard the best things with Galaxy phones and their fingerprint readers. So it might just be as bad or as, I don't know, okay as what a Moto has. So this article from The Verge talks about this phone and says Amazon's deal of the day is on the 256 gig version of the Samsung Galaxy S10e in black. I checked on Amazon and it's here, right? Unlocked 256 gigs of internal storage. This also has 8 gigs of RAM. Again, a Snapdragon 855 chipset. It seems to be packed with, you know, a good amount of specs in here. So at this time last year, $750 was the typical price you'd pay to get one. More recently, it sold for $700, and now it's selling for $500 unlocked. What's great about this deal is that it's for the upgraded version of the phone, which not only has double the storage capacity, but its RAM count is 8 gigs compared to 6 gigs. So even better RAM than the Moto Edge, better processor. So the only difference, right? If you're trying to compare it to a Moto Edge, you're not going to get 5G then. on this Samsung Galaxy S10e. So that's something that you'd have to think about if 5G is really something that you're looking for right now. I know I say this every time, but I just don't think 5G is worth it right now. I really don't. If you're looking for a phone and $500 is your price point, please do not put 5G as your top priority. Can it be a priority? Yes. Maybe if you plan to keep the phone for the next 3 or 4 years, then yeah, maybe the Moto Edge is your only option if you're looking for something at the $500 price point and you can't get the OnePlus Nord. But think about the upcoming Pixel 4a, whenever that's going to come out. But think about other phones as well. I mentioned this yesterday. Think about the OnePlus 7 for $500, or the OnePlus 7 Pro for $500. Think about the OnePlus 7T for $500. There, and I'm talking brand new. There are still other options there. So please keep that in mind when you are shopping for a phone. This phone released alongside the Galaxy S10 in early 2019, and despite being a more affordable alternative at launch, it has most of the same specs: a Snap 855, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage, and it also has micro SD support. It has wireless charging. So for anyone that keeps that as a priority as well, keep that in mind. A 5.8-inch OLED display with a hole punch selfie camera. And I think that's all they have when it comes to that. I did pull up the specs though, just so we could talk about it. The thing that kind of worries me here is the battery at 3,100 milliamp hours. So it is not the biggest battery in the world compared to what you can get with a lot of phones now that show over 4,000 milliamp hours. But look, it has IP68 dust and water resistance. I didn't realize that. And I'm assuming this display is going to be pretty nice too. I don't think it's a 90 hertz display, or is it? Did I say that? It might not be. So keep that in mind as well. These are just things that you got to think about when you're looking for this phone. Actually, this is showing me the Exynos. Well, no, it's saying Exynos and the 855 version on here. I don't know how good these cameras are. I haven't used one. So just something to consider when you're looking for another phone. If you're in the market for a phone, if you can hold off and you want to wait for the Pixel 4a, although that's not going to have the best processor in there or SoC, you can wait for the Pixel 5, which is going to have that Snapdragon 765G in there. But I think that might be pricing out at $700. We don't know. Make a pro and con list. I'll recommend that at least. If you're not in a hurry, make a pro and con list, figure out what's important to you, because there are a lot of things to consider when you are buying your next phone, or when you're trying to think what the next best phone for you might be. Okay, let me get into chat here. Let me see what's going on. Oh God, there's so much chat. Okay, let me see here. Leo is saying, great choice, Paul, for the Poco F2 Pro. Tectonic, hi. What's going on, Tectonic? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Deepak says, I still love my S10e. Beautiful little Sammy. There you go. Brian says, Moto Edge with 256 gigs of storage. Thank you for rehashing that in my head. I know my memory seems like it's just gone. Team Verizon says they really should follow up with a Galaxy S20e. I feel like they would, wouldn't they? You know, knowing Samsung making 8,000 phones, I feel like they should just do that. Leo also says, buy a S10 Plus, 512 gigs of storage for under $500. Better deal all day. There you go, on Swappa. Grant is in here. Made it. What up, everyone? What's up, Grant? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Okay, Grant says S10e, 128 gigs of internal storage for $350. Amazon renewed. That's also a great option for people who are looking for something at a even lower price point. $350 compared to getting this for brand new at $500. That's a great deal. Tony Kim is in here. Tony, what's going on? Good price. Yeah, totally agree. Tony, thanks for making it, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Team Verizon says Thanos unlocked, as all phones should be. There you go. Y2019 says also Edge has a better battery and 90 hertz. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a good point. Tony says, yeah, I hate the 5G tax. I have a bit of buyer's remorse. There you go. Y2019 says 11 days for the Pixel 4a. Hopefully, I hope so too. I just, we'll see. We'll see. Jose says Republic Wireless had the Pixel 4 XL brand new for $500. No activation required. That's a great deal. $500? Wow, that's an awesome deal. So, what is Republic Wireless? What towers is that? What would that work for? I'm curious. That's a really good deal. Tectonic 5G is the cause. Yeah, let me put that tinfoil hat on. Tony Kim says maybe some people like Samsung UI phones. Good choice for them. I'm not one of them, but people have their preferences, and that's okay. And really, that's the whole point of this is that it is okay. It really depends. I am not a fan of Samsung's UI either, but I think there are some ways around it. I guess I would have a hard time with Samsung's UI though because of the emoji. I think for me, in a weird way, that is a deal breaker for me. Is that damn emoji? Okay. Y says none of the S10 series have a high refresh rate. Jerome, thank you. Y, thank you for saying that. Tony says people love the size of the S10e on release. Also a great option for people who want a reachable phone. That's a good point too. Yeah. Jose says I recommend the Pixel 4 XL for $500. That is a great deal. I know that I had mentioned the battery issue with the Pixel 4 XL, but I really don't know how big of an issue that is. It is something to think about though. And as long as Google would honor that issue, then I think you'd be okay. I'm not sure. Paul says, wanted to buy it tomorrow. So waiting 5 days, it's in France, saves me 98 euros. So with waiting, it saves almost 100. Yeah, good deal. Selwonk, what's going on, Selwonk? Welcome to the stream. On Amazon, it says the Galaxy S10e, 256 gigs is $700. That's not what I have on mine. I thought I looked that up, right? Yeah, I have it right here. So, oh, well, no, it says $700. You know what? I don't know if it's because I was going to say, is it not in stock? Why? Yeah, I thought I did the homework here. I guess not. So you could get a renewed version for $470. Why is it? Am I looking at it wrong? No, that's all no, this is the S10 here. Why is it? Good point, Salwonk. Maybe I didn't see it. Anyway, maybe it's somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe it's already sold out. Maybe that's the thing too. But there are other options, a renewed option, like Grant said, and there are other possibilities out there. Anyway, Salwong, thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so let me see here. Ted says it's not 90 hertz, but Moto Edge versus Galaxy S10e, right? Y says there will be an S20e in the form of an S20 fan edition, supposedly. That's right. That is something that I've mentioned before as well, not confirmed. Republic Wireless uses T-Mobile, but do they carrier lock that phone at all? Do you know, Jose? For that, is there any kind of lock on that, or can I buy that phone outright from Republic Wireless and then just use it wherever? I'm curious how that works. Okay. Deepak Murthy says One UI is slow. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Tony says, wow, Republic Wireless still has it at 500. Never heard of them before. I don't have any issues with the battery on my Pixel 4 XL. Yeah, no. And I don't mean battery life. I meant there were issues with the back glass peeling on it. Again, it might be a very small minority, but it is something that I feel like is still important to talk about, just in case for anybody who might be looking at it. There might be some issues, and it's just worth taking some time to read into it and see if that's something that might be a concern for you or not. Levin says, I have been watching to see if my Pixel 4 XL has that battery issue, but so far so good. Thank you, Levin. I remember you were talking about that as well, or you said you'd at least take a look. So thank you for sharing that. Tony Pazzo is in here. Hello, people. How's everyone doing? Hi, Jerome. What's going on, Tony? Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Jay Smith says, if I could get a good bailout, I would get Jerome and me some nice phones. Jay Smith, thank you, man. That's very nice of you to say. Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you in here. Nice to see you cross over from HLM. Thanks for making it, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Y2019 says, where I live, the F2 Pro is selling is selling to equivalent of more than 800 euros. Jeez. Tony says, if you want great cameras, updates for years and wireless charging, IP67, iMessage, FaceTime, and AirDrop, go with the iPhone SE, second generation. There you go. A recommendation from Tony right there. And Leo says Republic Wireless charges taxes and shipping. So the Pixel 4 XL comes out to about $560. I mean, I would have assumed taxes regardless, but that's good to know. So thank you for sharing that as well. Jay Smith says, I just had to buy another battery for my Samsung and it's less than 2 years old. Which one do you have a phone that you're swapping batteries out of, or are you actually are you replacing them yourself? Most phones these days have the soldered on battery, but if you have one that has a removable battery, that's even better. Just curious what you're using. Team Verizon says my S9 battery went horrible after a year, despite me being careful with it. Sadly, yeah, that's a shame for sure. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and move on. What do I have here? Oh, this is a different story. This is about the Galaxy S10e, and it might soon replace your physical ID. I have mixed feelings about a digital ID, and I think when I say mixed feelings, I just mean in terms of security and safety. But I feel like this is the direction we're going anyway, and I feel like anything's possible to get hacked at this point. So Samsung announced that Germany will be the first country to use its mobile eID service. The service will allow citizens to carry their identification info within their smartphones. Samsung Galaxy S20 devices support the solution at present. I don't even know if any other phones do at this point. Physical identification documents and cards may soon become permanent residents of your dressing table drawer. Samsung Galaxy S20 users in some countries will soon be able to use their smartphones as digital identity cards. Let me ask a question here. Let's say today they announced that you no longer need to carry your driver's license or state ID with you or whatever you use anywhere else around the world. And they said, no, now you can just digitally have it. Would you feel, because it's new for everybody, would you feel weird not carrying your driver's license around and just having your phone instead? Or would you still carry your physical driver's license or identification card on you? That's a weird thing to think, that I would leave my house or my apartment without carrying my ID, knowing that I would just keep it on my phone. Because then in my head, I'm just like, well, what if my battery dies? Or what if, but that's not something that typically happens when I'm out and about. I feel like it's coming. It's just a matter of time before this becomes kind of a worldwide thing or a universal thing. So the electronic ID eID system detailed by Samsung today will allow citizens to use their smartphones as digital identification tools. Samsung believes eIDs will reduce the time it takes to verify your identity when creating bank accounts or other processes that require authentication. As per the release, the eID service will only be offered in countries that issue ID cards with NFC support. Samsung explains that the enrollment process will be pretty simple. Users will tap their phones to their NFC-enabled cards, prompting users to enter a PIN. The ID card's information is then sent to the relevant authorities for authentication. I just worry about the safety here. I also worry about the privacy involved in this. Once verified, the encrypted eID is stored in the device and can be accessed by the user when required. Samsung states that the use of eID on its devices stems from the development of a hardware security chip, the embedded secure element, ESE. The chip, announced in May, is reportedly tamper-proof and generates unclonable keys for stronger authentication. As for availability, the German National Electronic ID Service will be first to plug into the system on S20 devices later this year. It's not clear when the service will be adopted by other nations. Samsung's system also adheres to EIDAs, the EU's legislation on digital identification. So we could see a wider European rollout in the months ahead. Just an interesting topic, something to discuss. I just don't know how comfortable I'd be today, but I feel like it's just something that's eventually going to be rolling out in the future. I just don't know how many years down the road that's actually going to be a thing. Real quick, Brian with the $1 super chat. Brian, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the support. Thank you for always the continued support with that. You and Levin have been very regular when it comes to supporting that way. So thank you, man. Thank you for that support. Always appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. So Jay says I replaced it. There you go. Nice, man. I don't even touch doing anything like that, replacing batteries on my phone. So kudos to you. Levin says that sounds cool, but I'm not ready to rely on this tech just yet. I think there's going to be a lot of hesitation when it comes to it. Tony says, I think it's a great idea, but quote, freedom loving Americans will fight it. I would be on board with a phone ID. You're right. Free. I love how you say that. Freedom loving Americans will fight it. I have a feeling that'll be the case too. I also feel like when autonomous driving becomes a thing, and let's say autonomous driving actually works so well that it would help as far as bringing down the number of accidents and safety issues and all that. I imagine that in the future, if they ever start to say, well, you know, people driving is a threat or it is a safety issue, and we're going to start telling people that they can no longer drive and they just have to just rely on autonomous driving, I feel like that is going to be a huge fighting issue. Don't tell me I can't drive my car, that I can't shoot my gun in front of somebody's face. I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying. I do see that becoming an issue as well. Sean says, I'm carrying my license regardless. See, I feel like I'd do the same thing. I feel like I couldn't not carry my license on me. It would feel really weird otherwise. Brian says, no, the cops would have access to your phone if they ask for your ID. Oh, that is a really good point too. I didn't think about that, Brian. That is a good point. I love Samsung Pay. It's off the chain, being able to use it everywhere. There you go. Sean says, I'm not comfortable to put my ID on my phone. And I guess that's a good thing too. Or that's a question as well. Like, would you not only carry your physical ID, but would you feel safe even putting it on your phone? Like, would you put it on both? Or would you be a little hesitant because now you have that ID on your phone and you just worry about somebody being able to access that? Team Verizon says, maybe I'm old school, but I'm not so sure yet. See, there's a lot of hesitation when it comes to it. Tony says, I can't wait till we have digital license ID. Tony's on the complete opposite spectrum here. Tony's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this physical ID. Where can I throw this away? Let me just put it on my phone. There you go. Okay, yeah, Levin says, Brian, I didn't even think of that. No, that is a good point. Tony says, I have my bank card already on my phone. I use mobile payments only. So actually, that's a good point. So I have my bank card on my phone, but I still carry my physical credit card or my banking card. I still have that with me. Paul says, here in Holland, we already have NFC in our passports. There you go. Y2019 says, where I live, the Poco F2 Pro is more expensive than the Exynos version of the normal S20. Yeah, it's crazy how in different parts of the world, it's just so much more expensive. Tony says, phone ID will spread Corona faster. I can see that in a way. I'm trying to think of how the logistics work with that. And then Ruben with the $7 super chat. Ruben, thank you, man. Thank you for these super chats. Ruben's always like puffing his chest and bringing that super chat out. Ruben, man, thank you so much. What up, Jerome? Phone Jerome fam. Thank you, Ruben. Personally, as a black man, I think I should have a physical ID at all times. Ruben, I have a hard time disagreeing with you, man. I have I totally understand. I totally hear you. This isn't something I talk about much on my stream or my chat or whatever, but I've had a couple issues as well when it comes to not only getting pulled over, but getting asked for my ID and whatever. And I mean, it's not to the same extent as others, but I totally hear you on that, and that makes a lot of sense, and I can totally relate, but not relate probably in that same kind of way. But Ruben, thank you for the support. Thank you for making the stream. Nice to see you, man. Appreciate you stopping by again. Okay, Tony says, Jerome, does mobile payments work on your Huawei? I actually have not tried that, so I know that there is like a Huawei wallet app, and I know that I could probably put, well, I don't know if I could put Google Pay on my phone. It is in the Aurora App Store, but I'm glad that you asked that. That is something that I should try out for, I guess, as a whole in my review, to see if I can use any type of mobile payment on my phone. I will try that out. I'll let you know. So thank you for bringing that up. I will keep you posted. I'll keep you updated on that. Levin says, I agree with the $7 super chat. No, that is a great issue to bring up, especially here in the States with everything that's happening. I totally understand. Deepak says NFC is very important in my life. Tony says I wasn't being serious about the corona. Thank you. That's why I was a little like, I didn't know how to respond to it. I was like, maybe there's a logistical thing that you're talking about. Like, you got to give the phone to somebody. And anyway, thank you for clearing that up, Tony. Okay. All right. Moving on. I got 5 minutes here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to talk really quick about iOS 14. So it looks like iOS 14, the public beta 3 got released just a day after the developer beta 3 was put out. So iOS 14 public beta 3 and iPad OS 14 public beta 3 were just released on Thursday. Apple announced iOS 14 and iPad OS 14 at its annual WWDC back in June. So developer betas have been so stable that the company didn't even wait a full month before releasing the first public beta 2 weeks ago on July 9th. This is great. I really need to download. I have my iPhone. I just don't use it as much anymore. Now that I carry my Huawei P40 Pro Plus, I haven't even had a chance to try iOS 14 yet. I really do. I really do need to. Just one day after releasing iOS 14 beta 3, Apple has now released the public beta 3 to the public. As long as you're signed up for Apple's beta program, you can experiment with all of the new features of the upcoming software update on your iPhone right now. iOS 14 features hundreds of changes and improvements. Here's the whole list of phones and iPads, I think, that are compatible with it. That goes all the way down to the first gen iPhone SE, the 7th gen iPad Touch, and then a bunch of iPads, as well as like iPad Airs. And then there's a whole list of like all of the new features for it. I don't know. And, talks about redesigned widgets for everything, widgets on the home screen in different sizes, There's just a lot on it. And I love that Apple is able to keep pushing these things out. I think, I love that Apple is giving a little more customization to iOS in general. This is something that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, and I think they've done a really good job at doing that. I need to download iOS 14. I just haven't had a chance to. With that being said, I wanted to transition really quick into sticking with Apple, because I have a story about my AirPods Pros. God, I feel like my mind is just not there. Tony says, Jerome, I would not try any kind of mobile payments on Huawei. If you're saying that because you're worried about the privacy and them stealing info from me, I really, so like, if you're asking me personally, I feel like that my privacy is just as unsafe on my Pixel than it would be on my Huawei. But that's me. And I totally understand. And I appreciate you looking out and saying that. And I'm not sitting here telling anyone else to do it either. I'm saying I would try it just for the sake of trying it and seeing how that would work. But yeah, I do understand, and I appreciate your concern. So thank you for saying that. Tony says here, changes. The other Tony, there's a different Tony. Tony Kim says changes in iOS 14. Kudos to Apple. Yeah, for sure. Team Verizon says, oh man, I wonder how iOS 14 will run on my iPod Touch. There you go. You should try it out and let us know. So let me switch over, because I wanted, before we kind of call it a day. So I have been using my AirPods Pro since November of 2019. I've had this for a while, and I've been using this almost daily. I use it so much. I really enjoy having them. I think they pair really easy. They're easy to charge. They have a wireless case as well, and it's great. But I think about a month and a half ago, the left AirPod started to go bad. The left AirPod started to crackle really bad, especially during voice calls. I was having an issue with that, sometimes with music, but it depended on the music. But I really didn't do much about it. I was like, whatever, it's fine. And then I think it was sometime last week, the right AirPod completely went bad. It just went out. I tried to unpair it and repair it back on my iPhone 11 Pro. And then I tried to pair it with my other Android phones, and the right AirPod still wouldn't work. So I ended up chatting with support, and it was super easy. Chatting with support made it super easy to get replacements for it. I thought they were going to replace the entire AirPods Pros, but they just ended up replacing the left and the right AirPod. That's it. I thought they were just going to give me a complete new set, but they didn't. And so actually what they did is I have replacements here for the left and the right, which is really weird that they went ahead and they sent me two separate packages from, I think, two different places. So I have one left and one right sent separately in these biggish boxes. And again, the process was easy. I put $200 on my credit card to hold. So once I send these broken ones back, then they'll refund me that money. But it was also weird because today I was like, okay, I didn't go for a long bike ride, but long for me, especially on a 2-day fast, but I went on a 15-mile bike ride, and I was like, okay, let me put at least the left AirPod on. So I did. This thing is fully charged. It even showed 100%, and the left AirPod died in, I think, 40 minutes. It just completely went out. And I was like, what the hell? This has never happened to me before where I've had that issue. So now I'm scared that the case might be an issue as well. Or maybe the case is the issue and maybe not the AirPods. But I'll keep you guys posted. I just something to share. I was thinking maybe it's time to not upgrade, but maybe look at trying something different. I was looking at those Galaxy Buds Live, whatever, the ones that look like kidney beans. Because I don't know, I just thought maybe it's time to try something different, but we'll see how these replacements go. It's funny that they put it in that's what the box looks like. It's just a lot of packaging for one AirPod. So I'm going to return the old ones back. They didn't give me any new silicone tips, whatever. I think the one complaint I had too about these is the fit on these were really good when I first had them. And then over time, the fit kind of loosened up. And I think there are hacks to make them a little tighter, but I don't know which ones they get. I'm assuming these are just the medium-sized silicone tips. And I can't remember if that's the one I have on the ones I use now, but I'll have to take a look. Anyway, that's just my story for that. I just thought I'd share. So before we call it a day, I will go through chat here, just see what else is going on before I say goodbye. Tony says, I definitely agree. iOS 14 betas are really good. I can't wait to try it. I really need to do. Brian says, Apple, please let us put icons anywhere on the screen. Yeah, I think of anything, that's what I want more than anything else. But yeah, that is something I've been complaining about for a while. Team Brian is like, yes, please. No, but that is an awesome feature that I wish they would just put on there. Brian, yeah, I think it's about time to let us choose to do that, like a toggle to snap to the screen as it is now, or to freely move them. I agree. Good luck getting that type of support from an Android manufacturer. People hate on Apple because it's cool to do so, but no, you're right, Tony. The process on getting these was super easy. It took less than 5 minutes, I think, in chat. I was like, hey, these AirPods aren't working. Here's what happened. I tried to unpair it, repair it, still didn't work. Okay, we can send you, replacements. And then it came like 2 days later, super quick. So I'm going to try these out, and I'll let you guys know if it fixed the issue or not. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with the case. I've never had the issue where the AirPods died in less than an hour. But now I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with the case and not the air. I don't know. we'll see. Grant says, I've had issues where one AirPod Pro didn't charge in the case for some reason and died as soon as I put it on while the other side was fine. Yeah. And so like I try to recharge and do all that kind of stuff, and the right one still doesn't work. So we'll see if these replacements fix it. I'm hoping it's also not the case, because then I'm going to have to wait for that as well. And when I go work out, I like listening to music. It's something I do all the time. Anyway, all right, guys. I think that's it for today. That's what I'm trying to say. The hour is up. Our hour is up, guys. I am your therapist for today. Our hour is up, and we'll have to reconvene in our next session tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will be back 2 p.m. Central. Guys, thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate everybody stopping by. If you didn't have a chance, please hit that like button. It really helps me algorithmically so people can find the stream. If you are not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you get notified when I do stream. I know it's as a YouTuber, I feel like that's something I have to say to like compete with everyone else. I hate being that guy, but guys, thank you again so much. Thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. Thank you to all my members, my YouTube members who have joined the channel. Thank you guys so much for being part of the Phone Jerome fam. Thank you for the super chats today, guys. That extra support helps offset costs for me, and it helps me continue to do what I do. So again, thank you so much. I'll make sure that, well, all your names are here on the end of my outros, so you guys can have a little fame, when at the beginning, at the end of the stream. So again, guys, come back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Here's my obligatory wave as the music plays out. There we go. Transition. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.